3 years ago, a little boy and his grandmother came to see Santa at the Mayfair Mall in Wisconsin. The child climbed up on his lap and was holding a picture of a little girl. "Who is this?" asked Santa, smiling. "Your friend? Your sister?" "Yes, Santa," he replied, "my sister Sarah, who is very sick." Santa glanced over at the grandmother, who was waiting nearby, and saw her dabbing her eyes with a tissue. "She wanted to come with me to see you, oh, so very much, Santa. She misses you," he added softly. Santa tried to be cheerful and caused a smile to come to the boy's face by asking him what he wanted Santa to bring him on Christmas. When they finished their visit, the grandmother came over to help the child off Santa's lap and started to say something to Santa, but stopped. "What is it?" Santa asked warmly. "Well, I know it's really too much to ask you, Santa, but..." The old woman began shooing her grandson over to one of Santa's elves to collect the little gift which Santa gave to all his young visitors. "The girl in the photo, my granddaughter. Well, you see, she has leukemia, and she isn't expected to make it even through the holidays," she said through tear-filled eyes. "Is there any way, Santa, any possible way, that you could come and see Sarah? That's all she's asked for this Christmas, is to see Santa." Santa blinked and swallowed hard and told the woman to leave the information with his elves as to where Sarah was, and he would see what he could do. Santa thought of little elves the rest of the afternoon. He knew what he had to do. "What if it were my child laying in that hospital bed dying?" he thought with a sinking heart. "This is the least I can do." When Santa finished visiting with all the little boys and girls that evening, he retrieved from his helper the name of the hospital where Sarah was staying. He asked the assistant location manager how to get to Children's Hospital. "Why?" Rick asked, with a puzzled look on his face. Santa told him about the conversation with Sarah's grandmother earlier that day. "Come on, I'll take you there," Rick said softly. Rick drove Santa to the hospital and went inside with him. They found out which room Sarah was in. A pale Rick said that he would wait out in the hall. Santa quietly peeked into the room through the half-closed door and saw little Sarah on the bed. The room was full of what appeared to be her family. There was grandmother and the little girl's brother, who he had met earlier that day. A woman, whom he guessed was Sarah's mother, stood by the bed gently brushing Sarah's thin hair off her forehead. And another woman, who he discovered later was Sarah's aunt, sat in a chair near the bed with a weary, sad look on her face. They were talking quietly, and Santa could sense the warmth and closeness of the family and their love and concern for Sarah. Taking a deep breath and forcing a smile on his face, Santa entered the room, bellowing a hearty "Ho, ho, ho!" "Santa!" shrieked little Sarah as she tried to escape her bed to run to him, IV tubes intact. Santa rushed to her side and gave her a warm hug. A child, the tender age of his own son, 9, gazed up at him with wonder and excitement. Her skin was pale and her short hair showed telltale bald patches from the effects of chemotherapy. But all he saw when he looked at her was a pair of huge blue eyes. His heart melted, and he had to force himself to choke back his tears. Though his eyes were riveted upon Sarah's face, he could hear the gasps and quiet sobbing of the women in the room. As he and Sarah began talking, the family crept quietly to the bedside, one by one, squeezing Santa's shoulder or his hand gratefully, whispering thank you, as they gazed sincerely at him with shining eyes. Santa and Sarah talked and talked, and she told him excitedly all the toys that she wanted for Christmas, assuring him that she had been a very good girl that year. As their time together dwindled, Santa felt led by the Spirit to pray for Sarah and asked for permission from the girl's mother. She nodded in agreement, and the entire family circled around Sarah's bed, holding hands. Santa looked intensely at Sarah and asked her if she believed in angels. "Oh, yes, Santa, I do," she exclaimed. "Well, I'm going to ask the angels to watch over you," he said. Laying one hand on the child's head, Santa closed his eyes and prayed. He asked that God touch little Sarah and heal her body from this disease. He asked that the angels minister to her, watch her, and keep her. And when he finished praying, still with his eyes closed, he started singing softly, "Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright." The family joined in, still holding hands, smiling at Sarah, and crying tears of hope, tears of joy for this moment as Sarah beamed at them all. When the song ended, Santa sat on the side of the bed again and held Sarah's frail, small hand in his own. "Now, Sarah," he said, "you have a job to do, and that is to concentrate on getting well. I want you to have fun playing with your friends this summer, and I expect to see you at my house at the Mayfair Mall this time next year." He knew it was risky proclaiming that to this little girl who had terminal cancer, but he had to. He had to give her the greatest gift he could. Not dolls, or games, or toys, but the gift of hope. "Yes, Santa," she exclaimed, her eyes bright. He leaned down and kissed her on the forehead and left the room. Out in the hall, the minute Santa's eyes met Rick, a look passed between them, and together they wept. Sarah's mother and grandmother slipped out of the room quickly and rushed to Santa's side to thank him. "My only child is the same age as Sarah," he explained quietly. "This is the least I could do." They nodded with understanding and hugged him. 1 year later, Santa was again back on his seat at the Mayfair Mall in Milwaukee for his 6-week seasonal job, which he loves to do. Several weeks went by, and then one day a child came up and sat on his lap. "Hi, Santa. Remember me?" "Of course I do," Santa proclaimed, as he always does, smiling down at her. After all, the secret of being a good Santa is to always make sure each child feels as if they are the only child in the world at that moment. "You came to see me in the hospital last year." Santa's jaw dropped. Tears immediately sprang to his eyes, and he grabbed this little miracle and held her to his chest. "Sarah," he exclaimed. He scarcely recognized her, for her hair was long and silky, and her cheeks were rosy, much different from the little girl he had visited just a year before. He looked over and saw Sarah's mother and grandmother in the sidelines, smiling and waving and wiping their eyes. That was the best Christmas ever for Santa. He had witnessed and had been blessed to be instrumental in bringing about this miracle of hope. This precious little child was healed, cancer-free, alive and well. He silently looked up to heaven and humbly whispered, "Thank you, Father, for this very Merry Christmas." If this Christmas season doesn't go as you would like, remember Sarah. She had hope for the future. She didn't live for the moment. She lived in love, belief, and most importantly, hope. This might be your first year alone without your child. It might be your first year alone without your spouse's warm caress. It might be the first year that you feel truly alone. It might be your first year of looking forward to returning to work just so that you don't have to think too much about your needs. Don't look inward, look outward. God is always with you. Are you willing to be a Santa to someone else in need? Will you be instrumental in bringing hope to others? Do you have Sarah's courage to look beyond the moment and into the future? A future filled with new opportunities to make friends, to begin new relationships, and most importantly, to find inner peace.